As much as I love comic discourse, this one actually makes no sense to me because a lot of people are making good points for John Walker's character, but the other half are making it very clear to me that they didn't watch the show, any of the movies, or read any comics. They kind of just see clips of him on TikTok and they're like, oh yeah, I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about most of the comments I've been getting and compress the main points into this video. Because clearly I have to clarify what I meant in the original, well, not original, but I guess the biggest one that I made so far. I don't mean literally everyone who likes his character is either young or racist. I like his character. I like watching his character, but people who defend his actions usually fall into one of those two categories. The reason I say for one side young category is because for young fans, you look at John Walker and you look at America, the government, US soldiers, and you think they're all good, and you think that everything they do is justified and the ends justify the means. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. And in most cases, you're too young to actually understand what Captain America stands for. Just because America's in the name doesn't mean he only fights for America. And for most of the younger people who like John, you like him because he's edgy, he shoots guns a lot. You probably like Shadow the Hedgehog, and you probably like Punisher. And then here's the bigger one that I'm getting a lot of comments for. The racist category. I, very clear as day, did not say John Walker is racist. You didn't even listen to my original video. Also, please don't use points like his best friend was black, because if you get the iconic joke, that doesn't help anyone's case. When I say some fans are racist, I'm saying the fans specifically who have to say they hate Sam to justify why they like John. You can like John without bringing up Sam or saying that Sam sucks. Or people who say stuff like, Sam is boring, Sam didn't deserve the mantle, John is way better, cope. Or have the nerve to say stuff like, John has the most complex character development they've ever seen. But then also in the same breath say, Sam has no character development whatsoever. Now let's get into that character development and kind of give you insight as to why he might not have liked John, because some of y'all just aren't getting that for some reason. From Sam's introduction, he's also a soldier. He's an Air Force pilot. He has a hard time trusting people and definitely doesn't like working on teams. We see this when he first meets Cap. We see this when he first meets Bucky. Hell, he hated Bucky for the longest time. But obviously you see now that they've gotten to know each other, now that they've been in the field together, now they get along. Why do you think he's going to do that with John on first interaction? Their introduction wasn't exactly great. You can't suddenly expect Sam to automatically be so trusting and willing to work with this random guy who came out of nowhere saying that the government just appointed him the new Captain America. There's already a big discourse going on about who should be the next Cap between Sam and Bucky. But now there's this new guy interjecting saying he's already Cap. Obviously because Sam doesn't know him and especially doesn't trust the government. Mind you, MC's government is significantly worse than the real one. Yes, it makes sense why he wasn't quick to trust him. And in Bucky's case, why doesn't it make more sense to y'all why he doesn't like John? He grew up with the original Captain America. Pre and post serum. He literally got to experience and fight alongside and against the original and greatest Captain America. So he knows his ideals like he wrote the damn book. He knows what the mantle means, and obviously John did not meet that expectation. Start to finish, he didn't. Obviously, one of the bigger elephants in the room, the flag smashers. Yes, no one's arguing that they were terrorists. Plain definition, they were destroying and causing harm for political purposes. Y'all are forgetting this is the MCU and it's never as black and white as reality. Well, even reality technically isn't black and white. In the MCU, the blip happened. And because of all the chaos that happened with all these people that disappeared, all of the nations finally came together and fixed a lot of the world's problems. They were actually helping people and doing it for the sake of saving lives. There was no more purely political gain. Wars really stopped. Everything was good for a lot of people, ironically. But then people came back and the governments went right back to the shit they were on before the blip. A lot of people got hurt, lost their lives, lost their homes. Hell, some were even, like a lot of the flag smashers, when they came back, they were told they were illegals. They were told they had no place in the world anymore. But what did they do? They did like any other major group trying to push a political agenda in history. They caused a lot of chaos to get their message heard. Again, just so you know, I'm consistent. I don't agree with what they did. I see their reasoning It's okay to understand their reasoning and not agree with their actions. The ends do not justify the means, but y'all are too easy to throw around this death penalty shit. You want to look at a character like the Joker, who cannot be redeemed in any way, shape, or form? Yes. And that nigga. These are human beings who actually think they're doing something that's going to cause a positive change. They're not doing terror just for terror's sake. They're trying to save lives in their own mind. And again, so you know I'm being consistent, I don't agree with what they did or how they did it, but they did have a reason. Sam tries his hardest to empathize with them because that's what Steve taught him. That's the character development. Because Sam, pre-meeting Steve, would never have tried to talk to them. Would have immediately gotten that jet and blew them to smithereens. Immediately been throwing falcon blades at people. Because of the era that they lived in and the amount of damage that the governments have done, the Blip has done, all their supervillains have done, it's understandable that, you know, these people don't want to just keep living with the way that things are. Because people were getting fucked over because of the Blip. In their mind, drastic times call for drastic measures. And Sam saw this. Doesn't want to just kill them just because of their terrorists, because of the precedent that sends. Killing them doesn't stop the problem. It turns them into martyrs for their cause because they had a lot of supporters. How are y'all not getting this? Turning them into martyrs wouldn't have ended the problem. It would have created more of them. And heroes like Captain America don't view themselves as judge, jury, execution. Wait, that's why Punisher says that. They're meant to make social and political changes. These heroes aren't woke. That's their fucking jobs. And again, let me say this again, because I know some of you aren't really listening. You're just looking for your next response. I'm not justifying what they're doing. It is okay to like a morally gray character. I like watching John Walker. That doesn't mean I like who he represents as a person, and that doesn't mean I justify or like anything that he did. There are people who like villain characters. That doesn't mean they're going to go outside and do the shit that villain did. But the problem is people saying they would do exactly what John Walker did. That is a problem on so many levels. We don't look at characters like Dr. Doom and say, he's doing everything that he's doing for the sake of his country. So from his perspective, he can take out whoever he wants. We look at characters like Magneto and say, he's doing this for mutant kind. It doesn't matter how many political leaders he takes out, how many places he blows up. We don't say that shit. Let's stop comparing characters. Because I'm also seeing people saying, oh, nobody said anything to Wanda or Loki. I love them characters. Yes, we love the characters. But we also had Discourse at the time of their shows airing. Do y'all have short-term memory? Did y'all forget how much hate Wanda got for enslaving a town? Did you forget how much people hated Loki before Loki's show came out? Y'all are letting recency bias fool y'all. Also, stop bringing up Captain America fighting against Nazis in a war. That is nowhere near the same as what John was doing. Captain America was in a literal war in another country. Why are you comparing that to John chasing down one nigga? Yes, he was a super soldier. So what? He was an inexperienced combatant. John was peak human before the serum. He's a soldier with master level skills. And he was strapped. I'll say, oh, but he threw a rock at him. You turn around and see a super soldier with a giant ass metal shield that can't be broken and a Glock on his hip chasing you. Aren't you going to be afraid? Every second he's getting closer and closer to you and you know he's about to bash your brains in? You're not going to instinctively try and get away? What did John do when he caught him? Got him on the ground, restrained him, asked him one question. Didn't even hesitate, didn't even give him a chance to answer, really. And when he begged for his life and said, I didn't do it, John knew he didn't kill Battlestar. He still bashed his brains in. He didn't do it because he was a terrorist or because he was an imminent threat. He did that in a fit of rage. He was angry and just wanted someone to take the anger out on. It's that simple. Again, that wasn't the guy who took out Battlestar. It was Carly. Y'all didn't watch the damn show. I'm not saying the terrorist was innocent, but damn. I'm not saying heroes can't kill. I'm saying they can't do it for that reason, and they can't do it like that. I'll say any other superhero or Avenger would have done the same thing. No. They would have chased Carly. They would have hunted down Carly. Just chasing down some random goon? I fought terrorists in Brave New World. One of them threw a damn grenade in his truck. One of them threw an axe in his stomach. Didn't knock him off. He still arrested him. Him isn't nearly as strong as John. John is an anti-hero. Just like Deadpool. Just like Punisher sometimes. It's okay to like him. It is definitely not okay to say that you would do what they do. They made him likable in Thunderbolts. He was not likable in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that's how I know y'all didn't watch that damn show. Again, let me say it so y'all hear me. It's okay to like the character. That doesn't mean you have to agree with what they do. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.